right. Hey, what's up, Brandee? How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, David?
Doing good. Welcome to your coaching call today. I see you got your nice fancy Keller Williams jersey on or sweatshirt, whatever that is.
I did have a question on, yes.
Nice, nice. Cool. Well, welcome. So we got about 25 minutes or so. So what do you want to focus on today?
I really want to focus on my call reluctance.
Hmm.
There have been times, where I know it's in my head and I kind of try and push myself through, but my default is to not to make the calls. I still get like nervous. I've read, the section in your book talking about identifying it.
Uh-huh.
And I think and I think part of it is I don't deal with rejection very well. Um, and I don't know. I will find 1,000 different things to do other than pick up the phone. I will find 1,000 things to do, or I'll get nervous when I get callbacks. And I'm just like, and it is so not really like my comfort zone because I'm very much a person who engages, who I feel like I engage. But I know my comfort zone is in person. I know that when people see me or hear me, that I come across warm and knowledgeable. But on the phone, I just feel like a dork.
Hey, it's all good.
You to tell me no, and I just need to. I need. I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay. Well, thanks for I like this is not staged at all, and appreciate you picking a topic that I have a lot of experience with. So, thank you for that. Yeah. So I mean, so you said you've done the exercise, right? You've read it. You read the chapter. So tell me, after doing the exercise, what occurred to you? Like, what did you realize?
I just started identifying as a listing agent in, I want to say, June. Well, really June of last year when I became a solo agent, right? But I really didn't like dive deep into it until November. And so in November, I'm like, all right, I'm a listing machine. Let's work it out.
Hmm.
Uh, but just making the phone calls for me, I felt like, and I'm a former educator and engineer, and I felt like I didn't know scripts well enough.
Hmm.
I started studying my scripts. One of the things I do know that I like is listening to seasoned professionals make phone calls and
Mm.
really taking their words and making them my own. And then, doing my research. So, I feel like if I know it or if I feel comfortable, then I can have conversations. And then I was like, okay, I'm calling all these expireds. I've never had an expired listing. But then I got an expired listing, and then I got a FISBO.
Yeah.
We got those sold. And I thought like, oh, well, I'm not an imposter anymore. Like I can actually get this done. Like when I
Yeah.
say, my clients, I really do mean those who have trusted me, Brandee, and not, my people in my sphere. But I'm still nervous as a
So what? Let me ask you this. So what? I'm going to bring you back to the exercise. Did you do the exercise?
one of so I think there was different exercises.
Well, there was one at the end that you journaled. You were going to journal and you were going to track. You were going to, as you're making calls for a few weeks, you track, like you want, like when you have, like what you just shared, like, am I an imposter? Do I, so you want to journal like you want to keep a journal with you. So you're writing the stuff down that's coming to you as you're making the calls and starting to make the calls. So you can start to really pay attention to these thoughts.
Oh no, I didn't do that exercise.
All right.
I thought the exercise was like figuring out which one I was. Okay.
Well, that's the first. Yeah, there's two. You're right. There are two. The first one is first off determining which one is holding you back. And then the second one was actually tracking for a while our calls.
Um,
I think honestly, now that I mention it, that may actually be in the next chapter. So maybe that's not part of what I send out in the call reluctance email. It might be the next page, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's the second part of it is now, okay, I have some awareness. Now I want to actually track it and journal it. So it's like everything you said. So then it's funny because once we start journaling this stuff, then we can go back and read it after, and we read it and we realize how silly a lot of it is, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. I was on a call with somebody the other day, and he had talked about the inner critic, right? We all have the inner critic, right? But before I even go there, well, I will go there real quick. The inner critic, he had suggested naming your inner critic, like giving it a name. I thought that was brilliant. So
Okay.
like whenever that inner critic shows up, like you're like, oh hey, there's Boudreaux talking to me again. Like that's what I named mine, Boudreaux.
Just
Yeah, Boudreaux. There's a reason for that. I'm not going to get into that right now, but maybe some other day.
but I get how there's a story behind it because I'm thinking
Yeah,
of mm-hmm.
yeah. So coming up with that inner, because it's the voice. It's there's nothing there except the little voice and the meaning that we're giving. I mean, because the reality is we're just making calls. And I know you're coming from a place of service, contribution. You know what you're doing. You want to help people. So the only thing that's there is the meaning we're giving it.
Oh, I like that. That is the reality. All I am is just making a phone call. And if I could be of service, I can. And if, now's not a good time, no problem.
So when you did the first exercise, which one did it come out at? What did you come out
First,
as?
at first, I thought it was more of not feeling like I knew enough. But then after I got the expired sold, after I got the FISBO sold, like I was still felt I still felt like there was a block. And then I was like, it's rejection. I don't like to be told no in person. I don't like to be told no. I like to figure out a way to get it to, I like a yes, and so now that's the part, the fear of rejection. We did the disc profile. I'm a high D, but I'm also a high I. So rejection comes in. I like to, and then I also like a quick yes.
You
So
like what?
a quick yes, because I'm not the most patient, and then I also don't like rejection. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'm kind of a DI, so I don't like rejection either, but yeah, I get it. So you said you kind of switched from not knowing what to, because the one of them is not knowing what to say, right? The other one, there's another one, it's fear of rejection, which is probably the most common. There's lack of role acceptance. I'm not sure if that played in at all. Like sometimes we think,
In the beginning, it did.
it's funny because when we do this, sometimes people will notice, wow, I've got a little bit of all of them, right?
Yeah.
There's over analysis, right? But over analysis is really just, it usually is like one of the other ones, and you're just using that over analysis sometimes as a way just to not do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in the beginning, and I feel like you said, I went through a cycle. Like I was like, I felt like an imposter. I've never worked with sellers. Like I've never had a listing. I was learning about the contract. And so I was just like, maybe I should just stick with buyers. And then I sold my home and it gave me like, I was able to use my husband as like my first seller, and went through the contracts, learned it, answered those questions because I didn't feel the pressure of having someone who I love. Well, he is someone who I love and trust. Anyway, but he knows me. And so I didn't feel the pressure. So I was able to learn about the listing presentation, and I did all that with him. And so I moved past not knowing, right? And then once I got those expired in a FISBO, I felt like I moved past not knowing what to say. And so then I'm like, well, what is my issue? And then I, try and call and I get nervous. I'm like, I'm nervous, like I'm avoiding this. And I was like, what is, and then I was like, a no, I don't like no's. I said, it's the no. It's the no.
So you're talking about the fear of rejection.
Yep. It's the fear of rejection.
So are you sure it's not the last one that I didn't mention, which is fear of success?
It could be.
Do you know what that one's all about? Do you remember?
That from what I remember, it's what'll happen if everything goes right.
Part of it, yeah. Yeah, that's a part of it. Or wow, that was way harder than I expected. Holy cow. I don't know if I want to do that again. Right? I don't
Right.
I don't like that. I mean, yeah, I got the outcome I like, but wow, that I don't know about that much work, right? And you know how we fix that. I mean, it could be a combination. I'm not saying that's it. I'm just saying that those are the five that we've determined
Mhm.
are the most common.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's my next stage. Maybe I'll get to that one after I get past this fear of rejection.
All right,
Because
fair enough. Good.
like
So,
once I get past it, or once I just figure, because I used to do mindful meditation when I was an educator, and
okay.
how to silence, be present,
Uh-huh.
and redo that. Now I'm saying it out loud, and just take the task for being the task.
What do you mean?
Like you said, the reality is we're just making calls. So instead of saying, "Oh, I'm calling someone," and it's an expired, um, and they're probably getting 50 plus phone calls from different realtors. There have been times where I've been on the phone and been, because I found like the majority of the people that I call are men. That somehow the story that I tell myself is, men want to work with other men, and that it will be a heavy lift now that they're recognizing that I'm a woman on the phone. And so like my stories can be centered on like who I am as my identity. Uh,
Mm,
so I can come up with a lot of stories slash excuses if I need to. And so I'm having a hard time just pushing past that.
yeah. Well, it's common, so that's the good news.
Mhm.
Like most people are dealing with this, including me, and I've been making calls for 35 years. I still have to sometimes psych myself out and just be okay with it. Right. But the nice thing is when we get in a rhythm, it gets easier. So you're clear that it's the fear of rejection is the one that we're dealing with. That's the one that needs to be addressed
Yeah.
right away.
Hmm.
All right. So what are two ways that we can address that?
What are two ways that I can address that? I do like motivational videos, right?
Okay.
So for me, I feel like I need to address it with my mindset.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And then a part of me feels like I just need to see, I guess, how other people deal with rejection and how they move on to the next call. Like I needed a part of me, and this, I don't know if it's an excuse or really like what I really do feel that I need. Like I need
Yeah.
to see a model. I know every time that I've done something, I've had to watch someone who did it better than me do it, and then make it my own to where I'm able to then rise to the occasion. And I feel like that's another challenge that I have being a solo agent is but I have like I'm starting to create a space where I'm working with other agents, not
Yeah.
but like in parallel, like doing the lead generation together, like they're calling their folks, I'm calling mine. Because I don't know, that for me gives me like a safe space. It feels like there's someone doing it with me and not me
Sure. Okay.
myself.
Well, that's different than what you said before. You said I need to see how other people are doing it to model because I'd be curious, how do you know what someone else is doing to get beyond rejection is going to work for you?
Because I have a mindset, if they could do it, I could do it. If they could get past
Okay, but you could
this.
just know that, right? You don't need to see anything. You can know that, right? And then figure out what works for you because we're concerned about what works for you. That's not necessarily what works for others. I know a lot of people that do things a certain way that it's effective for them, but it wouldn't be effective for me.
Okay, that's fair.
So that's why I want to try to help you determine what it is that's going to serve you the best when this is happening. And yes, other people are doing it, right? I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
we've got dozens of people that are in our coaching that are doing, like Timmy's a perfect example. A lot of people, you know,
Mhm.
Mike Wiseman. I mean, yeah, all those guys came in. I mean, I don't know if they were dealing, if Mike was dealing with rejection. I mean, not of fear of making calls, but the results he's gotten with listings through focusing on the prospecting, you know.
Right.
All right, so let's go back to that, so you said the first thing, I said 2 points. You said number one, motivational videos, and I think you said number two is going to be modeling what others do, right? So I want to take number two and switch that. I want you to think a little bit deeper as to what else would work for me. Forget about what works for David or anybody else, but what will work for Brandee. Like, you know, like, because you said some things earlier, you shared some things with me that have worked for you in the past.
Yeah, I know in the past what's worked is I set a goal of how many people I was going to call or have conversations with, and I just kept at it till I got it done.
Okay.
Literally, like, got into bed, like, I closed the bedroom door, I sat down, I had my list. I was like, you know what? I said, we're not moving until, I told myself, I'm not, like, I said, you're going to push through. And so every time came up with an excuse, I was like, no, I said, we're going to sit here and we're going to push through.
Okay. Is that inspiring enough for you?
It's not. It's a pain. It was draining. Like, at the end of it,
Yeah.
I got all my conversations. I think it was for a 35 call challenge. I got my calls, my 7 calls. I think I was trying to do 7 contacts that day. I think that's how I got my expired. Like, I had success from it. I think that's how I got jacked. But I was just drained, and I was just like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna keep this up. But I also wonder, so part of me also, I thought to myself, is it hard because it's the first time I've ever done it? I remember when I first did CrossFit, and I had to go to an evaluation, and my trainer was like, you need to build up your leg muscles, because I can't do a squat like a deep squat all the way down. I can only go I couldn't go below 90. I couldn't get to 90 degrees.
I get it.
So before you start jumping off boxes or jumping on boxes, he was like, you need to do a squat below 90 degrees. And he was like, it's going to hurt that first day. He said, you're going to cuss me out by the 3rd day. He said, but you have to do it every day for 7 days. And on that 8th day, it will not hurt like it will hurt tomorrow. And so I kept that. And I remember it hurt like hell walking downstairs. And a part of me feels like, is this the same thing with call reluctance? Like, my first day doing squats was really like my first day making those calls. Is it like that? Does it get easier?
Yeah, I think well, here's what I would say. It sounds like there's a little bit of that 5th one in there, that that fear of success thing we talked about. But again, I don't, a little bit, I'm sure it's a combination, because we have all. So yeah, it was like you just said, it was a lot more challenging than you thought. You did it, but you were like, holy cow, right? So yeah, I'm going to tell you, it definitely is going to get easier, because you're going to become more effective with your conversations. You'll have more confidence, but yet you still, if you're that high I, you still don't like rejection, right?
That's true.
No matter what, you're not going to like rejection. So we have to figure out how to change the meaning.
What do you mean by change the meaning?
What do you think I mean?
What first comes to mind is, if you have 50 people to call and you're trying to get to a yes, okay, the first 4 no's, that's not a rejection. That's just you getting closer to your yes.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. I think that's the old Tony Robbins way of, getting so many no's to get to the yes. That's definitely a way to do it. It's kind of a grinder way, right? There's other ways too. What other way you think you could do it?
I'm writing notes. Redefine what
and I'm going to share this video with you too, so you can listen to it after.
Okay, I appreciate that. I know in the classroom, when a student doesn't get an answer right, I don't know if that's the same as to me. And now that I say that out loud, maybe that's what rejection is. I don't feel like I'm getting it right, right? And so in classroom, when a student doesn't get an answer correct, it's about going back and all right, what steps did you make? Where do you think you made the error?
Mm. Well, I can give you a quick tip, just something to think about. A lot of these people you're calling, are they actually rejecting you, or are they just rejecting a phone call that you're making to them?
They're actually, there are times where I feel like they're rejecting me. And then there are other times where I feel like, maybe this wasn't just a good time for me to call.
Okay, fair enough. So when you call, what's your intent?
When I call, my intent is to see if they're, I'm thinking through with you. Because I don't know, I don't think I've ever set a clear intention other than to get a listing appointment. Is to see if they're still thinking about selling. How can I help? And then if I can help, like making sure that I set up a time for us to talk about ways that I could be of service.
All right. Yeah, I love that. So when you think about those three things or four things, are you still interested in selling? Great. Can I help? And I'm going to say, great, I'll set up a time. So besides that, what else is there in the call?
Saying my name. Other than that, there is nothing else to introducing myself, and that's it. And them introducing themselves. That's basically it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds almost too simple, but the reality is, if you approach it that way, like, hey, you know what? So here's something that I started doing years ago, and hope this may help you. I just try to call and see if I can help. If I can help, great. If I can't, oh, I guess can't help that person. Moving on. And it helps me take any personalness out of it. And then I realize, if they don't want my help, if they treat me the wrong way, they have the issue, not me. Right.
Right.
And then, think about it too, like this: if somebody had their home on the market, from an expired perspective, a physical is a little different, but if somebody had their home on the market, it didn't sell. Now all of a sudden, all these real estate agents are calling them and saying, oh yeah, hey, you want to relist with me? I can sell your house. When are you going to hire the right agent? Blah, blah, blah. How are you going to feel?
I'm gonna be like, just leave me alone.
A lot of people, right?
Because there's a lot to, like I said, there's a lot to process, especially when you don't sell. Yeah. Especially in the market when all you hear is how other people are getting their home sold.
Yeah.
I would be frustrated.
And sometimes people are, sometimes even the nicest people are. So we have to figure out, and this is something that's worked. So I'm coming to them from a place of curiosity and empathy. So I'm going to try to simplify. The call is not about me. The call is about the other person. So it has nothing to do with them rejecting me or not. Now, if they're disrespectful to me, that's another topic. And then I'm going to tell people, you don't have the right to talk to me like that. And I will say to somebody, as a matter of fact, I'm going to remove you from my list. Have a good rest of your day. Click. Because there are disrespectful people out there. But again, now that's not my problem. That's their problem, right?
Oh, this is good because I've been seeing my reject or not getting to an appointment I've been making the calls about me. And if I'm doing this right, and if I'm, going through everything. So to me, a listing appointment means that I got an A on the paper. Does that make sense? Rather than, and so when there's a no, I don't want to meet, no, I don't want to talk, no, then I feel like I didn't pass the quiz when it's not really about me passing a quiz. It's really about helping someone who's in a situation. And if they need it, then being there to do it. And if they are still processing it on their own, that it literally has nothing to do with me. Let them process, give them space to process.
Yeah, it may just be a follow-up call, right? Like, hey, you know what? Maybe now, sounds like now's not a good time for you. I get it. You've probably just been called by 30 agents. I can imagine how frustrating that is. I know how frustrating it is. So maybe now's not a good time. Maybe we can check, is it all right if I check back with you in a few weeks, whatever. You don't even have to ask. You just, you know what I mean? You just approach it however you choose. But we want to figure out how to take it away from, because if fear of rejection is the biggest thing, and it's real, a lot, it's the most common one, then we have to play little mind games with ourselves and figure out how we make it. It's not about me being rejected anymore. Because it's really not. In the big picture, it's not. People are just going about their lives.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I had a little breakthrough, David. Thank you. So yeah,
Good.
so for me,
Tell me the breakthrough, and we're gonna wrap up because my next call is jumping on.
for me, my biggest aha moment was really acknowledging the fact that when I was calling people, it wasn't really about them, it was about me. It was about me knowing that yes, I did my scripts right. Yes, I was listening to the call and going, yes, it was about me validating like the coaching that I've been doing, the work that I've been doing. My calls are really about me getting a gold star, getting an A. And so they were like, no, I don't want to talk, whatever, click. It was, I failed, I messed up. Where did I go wrong? What did I do that was, that wasn't right? And so, but when we broke down, like, how did the calls go? It's like, are you interested in selling? How can I help? And then if we are both in agreement, well, hey, let's set up and let's talk. Making it about them and just really, and not about me getting I keep calling it a gold star, me getting my A, very much that type of person. It shifts it. Even now I feel different. I feel like, oh.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that's super important. And here's the other thing that's really, really important to understand. If it's not a fit, that's okay.
Yeah.
No big deal. That's cool. Maybe in the future we'll do something together. I'll send you my card. Have a great day. Do you know anybody else? Right?
No. Well, that takes a little bit of pressure off. It makes it not feel like because before I was,
of course it does. So
like oh shit, I could do this. Like this
good.
There's a breath. There's a space.
Was this a good use of your time today?
This was a good use of my time.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad I could bring you a good use of your time. I'm gonna give you one little tip to take with you, and it's give your little inner critic a name. I wish I made that up, but yeah. So when you start hearing that, because it will come, even though you're all pumped up right now, you're like, I'm ready to go, but it's gonna come back, right? And then you'll be like, oh, there's that little whatever talking to me again. Forget about him, and then come back to this, where you are right now. All right?
Yes. And I think I'm also going to start journaling too. I like that.
Good.
All right.
All right, my friend. Appreciate you. And
hey, David, this is good.
All right. You are welcome. I will see you soon. Thank you.
All right. Bye, y'all.